Dear student, a very good morning to all of you. Myself Jamin sir, and now I am going to explain the remaining part of the chapter, the open window. Student, I have explained 1 and 2 parts, and still now you can get that what the coincidences and what the sense is going on here. That means what the Vera is explaining, it's unnatural and it's skillful. It's a skillful skill of a young girl who has a master of weaving a story. That means she explained uncanny events are happening that is seems to real. And by listening this, one of his guests, who is Mr. Frampton, got puzzled, and even if he has to compel to leave the home as soon he saw the 3 men approaching in the house. So what happened the next? We will study here and try to understand. Student, I have told you many times that it's a story belongs to the quality of a girl who has a master or who has a mastery to telling a story. So let's start that what happened in third. Frampton grabbed widely at his stick and hat. That means Frampton takes widely his stick and hat. That means hurry and worry. He takes his hat and his sticks and the hall door and rush toward the hall door. The gravel drive, that means he was just running as it seems to the floor was a gravel that means uneven path where a person can't move easily, that means ungravel speed, and the front gate were dimly noted stages in his headlong retreat, and firmly and rigidly he ran toward the front gate, and even he couldn't manage himself or manage his speed. So as a result, a cyclist coming along a road had run into the haze to avoid imminent collision, and he just collided with a cyclist. That means his speed was so horrible and so uncontrollable that he can't manage himself with collision to a cyclist. Here imminent, that means unavoidable, and collision, that means that suddenly collide with anyone or suddenly accident एक अचानक से किसी पर्सन से मिल जाना, किसी से टकरा जाना, imminent collision. So I think student you have got and you come to know that what the mental situation would be at that moment of Mr. Frampton Nuttall. Now here we are, my dear, said the bearer of the white Macintosh. Here we are, my dear, and then the 3 person come in the home. Then they greeted Mrs. Appleton. Then, here, my dear, we are come, said the bearer of white Macintosh, and they have a white Macintosh. Macintosh, that means a creature who were only seen in the rainy season, coming in through the window, and they entered the window. Who was that who bolted out as we came up? And then they asked about that person who just ran away when they saw the 3 men coming. Then Mrs. Appleton answered them that a most extraordinary man, Mr. Nuttall, that he was Mr. Nuttall, a more extraordinary man. said Mrs. Appleton. He could only talk about his illness. And this is the person who used to talk about his illness only, neither he talks about the other affairs nor he wants to listen about other affairs. He just was talking about his illness and dashed off without a word of goodbye or apologies when you arrived. And when he saw you, he dashed without saying a word of goodbye or apologies. That means he neither said to you to goodbye, neither he apologizes, and he just ran as if he might see a ghost. One would think had been seen a ghost. So student, are you getting the complete sense? That means what would happen at that moment? जैसे ही उसने वो 3% को देखा, उसे लगा कि तीनों घोस्ट वापस आ गए और बिना गुड बाय, बिना कोई वर्ड कहे वो भाग जाता है वहां से. नाउ आई एक्सपेक्टेड इट वॉज स्पेनियल. देन द लिटिल गर्ल वेरा said that it was I expected that he ran away due to the spaniel, said the niece calmly. He told me that he had a horror of dogs. He said me that he had a horror of dog. He was once haunted into a cemetery where on the bank of a Ganges by the pack of dogs and had to spend a night at newly dug graves with the creature snarling, grinning and foaming just above him. He had told me that once he get struck with the dogs and dogs gathered him so that he had to spend a night in the newly grave, and he heard till whole night the grinning sound and the foam of a dogs. That's why he had a great fear about dogs, enough to make anyone lose their nerves. And this event is not so easy, that its events is so uncommon that a common person can make fear. Romance and short notice was her specialty. And romance and short notice was her specialty. That means here a single line said about the whole character of the niece Vera. That means Vera has a great sense of romance and a short notice. That means short notice, she used to take a great romance. So student, this is your chapter, and now your chapter has been completed, and now I have what the question I have given to you. You have to complete it in your fair, and then you should check by me. You should get checked by me, and I want to explain the given comprehension question. Why did Frampton rush out widely? That means I have explained in the above passage, in the above paragraphs. And what was the girl's explanation for his lighting exit? And just the above paragraph, the answer of this question is also given. So write the answer of this question and send to me. Thank you.